The night sky over the Middle East erupted in fire as ballistic missiles streaked toward American military bases. Sirens blared at Al Asad Air Base in Iraq and Al Udeid in Qatar, sending soldiers scrambling for cover as explosions rocked the ground. These were not random attacks. They were precise, deliberate, and unmistakably aimed at U.S. power. The missiles, launched from deep within Iran, sent a clear message of defiance. In the aftermath, chaos reigned. Damage assessments, casualty counts, frantic communications. The scale was staggering. One of the most direct assaults on U.S. forces by a state actor in decades. Smoldering craters and twisted metal marked the bases, a stark reminder of the dangers faced by thousands of American service members. The calm of a routine evening was shattered, replaced by fear and uncertainty. This was more than a military strike. It was a geopolitical earthquake. Iran's choice of targets was both symbolic and strategic, hitting a key operational base and a major command hub. The message: American assets, no matter how fortified, are within Iran's reach. As dawn broke on June 23, 2025, the region stood on the edge of a much wider conflict. Tonight's missile strikes are Iran's direct response to recent U.S. airstrikes that killed high-ranking Revolutionary Guard commanders. The White House called those strikes necessary. Tehran called them an act of war. Iran's leadership, under pressure to appear strong, retaliated openly, escalating a long simmering shadow war into direct confrontation. The U.S. aimed to cripple Iran's proxy networks, but instead provoked a dangerous shift. Iran struck U.S. forces directly. This tit-for-tat has created a deadly feedback loop, with each side justifying its actions as necessary defense. The conflict has now escalated from covert operations to open state-on-state attacks. The critical question: can this cycle be broken before it spirals out of control? Iran's missile barrage was calculated to inflict damage, restore national pride, and project strength. For Iran's leaders, inaction was not an option. They saw the U.S. strikes as a violation of sovereignty. Their response was inevitable, but it has pushed the Middle East closer to catastrophic war. The world now faces the real possibility of a much wider conflict. The stakes have never been higher. The next moves will shape the region's future. The world is on edge. Foreign ministries from London to Beijing are calling for immediate de-escalation. European leaders urge restraint, warning that one miscalculation could trigger disaster. The United Nations is convening an emergency session, pleading for both sides to step back from the brink. Diplomats are racing to open channels and find an off-ramp, but time is running out. Regional powers like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are on high alert, fearing they'll be drawn into a wider war. China and Russia call for calm, but also criticize U.S. actions, adding to the geopolitical complexity. Global markets are already reacting. Oil prices surge, stocks tumble, and economic shockwaves ripple worldwide. The consequences of this conflict are not contained to the Middle East. Tonight's missile strikes are a stark reminder of our interconnected world. The world holds its breath, hoping for diplomacy over disaster. The question now: what happens next? The White House faces pressure to respond forcefully, but a massive retaliation risks igniting a regional war. Iran is a formidable adversary, with missiles, proxies, and cyber capabilities. A conflict could engulf the region, disrupt global trade, and cause untold destruction. Leaders in Washington and Tehran stand at a crossroads. Will they choose restraint or escalation? Can diplomacy prevail, or has the cycle of violence gained too much momentum? Every option carries peril. A single misstep could have catastrophic consequences. The world waits in uncertainty, families and leaders alike bracing for what comes next. The old rules no longer apply. We have entered uncharted territory. Only wisdom and restraint can pull us back from the brink. Good night.